Good evening, everyone. It is 6:00 p.m. So we will call the Hudsonville Public Schools Board of Education work session for August 26th to order. Just a brief note on the agenda. We do have some action items, so we're going to veer off a little bit from our typical work session agenda just because school has started and we have a few teachers that need to be board approved. All right, so first up, you can stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Key board members have their agenda. If I can have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move that.
Movement from Nick and a second.
I'll support that.
Second from Mark. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Agenda's approved. Next up, we have recognition of visitors and hearing of people present.
First is Dan Scripps.
Good evening. My name is Dan Scripps. I live in Georgetown Township. It's kind of surreal for me to be here because I spent 40 years at that high school just over the hill there. So I'm kind of a wildcat. And there's another person in this room that it's kind of surreal for me. Doug Vanderjack over here. Last time I spent some time with Doug, he was this gangly little kid that was a swimmer and a history student for me. So, Doug, you've done well. You've done well. I'm proud of you. Good job. You've come a long ways. I'm here for something different tonight, though. I'm here to introduce you to a multi-partisan PAC group. It's called GAC, which includes Georgetown and Hudsonville. And we are working to do a number of different things here in the county. County commissioners, prosecutors, township board, and now we're going to go and work on the school board. I have some people from District 5 with me. I have Judy Bergman back here, and also Janet Martin. And then I have my other co-chairman of GAC, which is Georgetown Area Action Committee, and that's Rick Martinez, and he's going to talk to you.
So Robin is the next speaker.
Yes. Rick
Oh, no, you can only give me a minute and a half. Hi, I'm Rick Martinez. I don't talk as long as Dan, so I'm good. So just to let what Dan said, the Georgetown Area Action Committee, we've been around officially since January of this year. But we are kind of our antecedents date back to October of last year. And we are a multi-partisan group of basically everybody, Republicans, Democrats, independents, nonpartisan, people who don't care, people who walk down the street, people who chew bubblegum. So we're a little bit of everything. And our goal is to basically raise awareness of public elected officials' races, because we don't have a newspaper here anymore. Full disclosure, I used to work for the Grand Rapids Press. I was the first L-class layoffs at the place that was supposedly a job for life. So anyways, our goal is just basically to raise awareness of issues and the people that are running for public governance. We're all about transparency, we're about good governance, we're about great schools, we're about people who are responsible, and we're about people who care about their community. So we are doing school board candidate races in Hudsonville, Jenison, and for the record, I'm from Jenison. I live over by the high school, and also for Granville, mainly because those are all within Georgetown Township. As Dan mentioned, we're tied in with the Southeast Ottawa Action Committee, and we are working together with them, and we did send a survey to all the candidates in all three districts, Hudsonville primarily here, but also with Jenison and Granville. And we will publish those at one point, and then we will hopefully put together a voter's guide that will help inform people in the community. So I appreciate you having us here tonight, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to talk to you after the meeting. Thank you.
That is it.
That's it, all right, thank you, Robin. Next up, we have our action item, and Ms. Ann Armstrong.
Yes, thanks. I'm going to make this a little shorter than I normally do because you had the pleasure of meeting at least 3 of these candidates that I'm bringing to the board tonight. Jamie Tidy in the position of EL teacher for I think 3 different elementaries that she would be at. Jacob Fontaine, who is a math teacher at Baldwin Street Middle School. Bailey Reed, 5th grade teacher at the 5-6 building. And then finally, Hannah Anderson. And Hannah, I'll highlight a little bit more because you don't know about her. If you did come to opening day, though, Dr. Vanderjack did mention her because she was our last teacher for a late minute retirement. So anyway, Hannah Anderson comes to us from Central Michigan University grad. She was a Grand Haven student. And then she has taught at Romulus Alternative High School for 1 year. And she will be filling an English teacher position at the high school. Super enthusiastic. Actually, Nate Allen, who, as an assistant principal at the high school, had her as a student and just couldn't be more thrilled that now she's an Eagle. So those 4 fine people are being presented for hire tonight for your approval.
All right, thank you. So you have the proposal for the human resources items. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion from Dawn, second.
Support.
From Andrew. Any discussion, any questions for Ann? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, welcome to our new hires, and I think we met 3 of them at the
You did,
dinner.
yeah, you met
Yeah,
3 of them. That's why I
everyone's
didn't go into, because you heard all about them.
Me and entire staff got to meet Hannah on
Yeah.
Monday morning. And I called her out from
All right, next up, we have our discussion items. First up, we have our high school business and English courses.
Yes, good evening. So this is just a formal process that we've been working through with all of the courses. As you see in front of you this evening are the existing courses that we offer in the business department as well as the English department. So just looking for any questions of clarification this evening, any discussion before we move forward.
I feel like I ask this question every time we do this, but none of these classes are new. These have all been in the works for
That's
some of them
correct.
for many years, some of them for decades.
That's correct. Some of
making
them
sure.
for decades.
Yep.
We're just trying to get all of our T's crossed and I's dotted with regard to formal board approval, as well as, I guess I would mention, Mr. DeWitt, that in the future, in the coming months, following the regular process, if there are new courses, that would be a different process that we would go through, not the list. That would be the formal process that we've seen before. So thank you for clarifying.
We're filling in the blanks now, and then moving forward. We'll move on. This is pre-us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions for Ann?
So they'll come to the board then at the next board meeting on the 12th of September for approval.
Thank you.
Next up, we have voting delegates for the Michigan Association of School Boards Assembly.
We need a voting delegate for MASP from the board, and you're all here. Normally, if somebody misses, you're all here, so that's up to the board to discuss who you'd like in an alternate.
This is for the October meeting, and you have to be there in person if you're going to vote, correct?
That's correct.
What's the date?
I think it's like the 24th or the 27th.
And how
I'm just
is
looking.
November as well before? Was
It's
it-
moved around a little bit. It is in the fall.
Yep, end of October. I want to say it's October 24 would be the meeting where you vote, and then the conference is the 25th and 26th. I think it's in Lansing.
That's correct.
Andrew, were you going last year?
Last year it was Ken.
That's kind of last year.
And Ken, are you still involved in their?
Government relations.
Yeah.
Listen.
So will you
Are you
be
gonna
there?
be there, Ken?
I think it's like the 25th or 27th.
It's that
It's right near the Michigan State campus. I think,
It's
or
the
something.
24th.
Yeah.
The 24th is the day to vote.
Okay, that's what I
Uh,
thought. That is Thursday.
State
Weekend.
It's in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, that's fine, I can go.
Thank you, Ken. All right, do we need,
Yeah.
thank you, Ken.
But an alternate.
We do need an alternate. Would anyone like to
I'll
volunteer?
be the alternate in case Ken
Done.
can't. And Dwight might not announce football, he's just gonna go with me.
All right, so we have Ken and then Dawn is our alternate. Thank you. That was quick. All right, next up we have Baldwin and Riley Street Middle School East Coast trip request.
So standard requests that we'll bring to the board on the consent agenda for approval. These are both East Coast trips. Riley leaves on the Saturday after school gets out. School gets out on Friday, half day. I say that after tomorrow's gonna be a half day. We'll make it. No snow days this year, but they'll leave on Saturday and then Sunday morning Baldwin leaves. So standard, same trip they've done before, same tour group. Just we traditionally bring these out-of-state trips to the board, any discussion, and then we ask for approval at the next board.
Basically the same itinerary as in the past, or
They
any significant
switch,
changes?
so one goes farther south and heads north, the other one goes north and heads south. They cross in New York, and then, New York, and then they finish
The one
trips
goes
over
to
Boston.
Philadelphia and one goes to Boston.
It depends on it depends on the timing of what they can do, but
Okay.
they've done the same trip backwards before, and they've also hit two different cities. It all depends on the year. So.
Okay. Any questions for the East Coast trip? All right.
All right, so that is the end of the agenda, but you're not getting out in 11 or 9 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever. So I would like to share two things with the board, if possible, are not on the agenda because I just got the report. I do want to talk, Mr. DeWitt had questions about some of our security policies. I think some of you saw that. We did have a chance to discuss that. I think we are in a good place. I would discuss it now, but it's something we could go into closed session. Eventually, we will have the conversation, but I think we're all set with the changes that we've addressed. And if board members have questions, please let me know, and I can individually share with you where we are. But Mr. Petrolia will get the updated documents out to our staff and go from there. So I think we're in a good spot. Number two, we've had a lot of discussion on the traffic of Baldwin Street and 40th. I've met with Ottawa County Road Commission. They did a study and that there's not a traffic light that is warranted at the corner of 40th and Baldwin. However, now that 48th is closed, you can imagine what 40th looks like right now. It's a 3-year project on 48th. They will not take that into account in their study and address 40th and Baldwin. We then, Pat and I worked with Georgetown Township and said, we want to do an independent study because there's a little bit of a snag there. When Georgetown Elementary went in, the superintendent at the time, which was Roxanne DeWeir, said, they said, we're not going to put a traffic light, and Roxanne said that they will have to bus all of our kids from basically across the street to Georgetown. So we do. There are approximately 569 students that go to school on that campus that are bused technically across the street. You understand the busing situation and what that looks like. So we had an independent study done, and I'm not saying Ottawa Road Commission will endorse the independent study, but they've been working closely with Ottawa Road Commission, and I think we're in a good place to try to address the traffic issue on Baldwin. I'm going to show you some of the recommendations, kind of where we are. We still have to meet with the Road Commission. I'm not sure the direction. I think there are two options. And neither one of them address the traffic light at 40th and Baldwin, which I'm not going to lie, I'm okay with when you see kind of what they look like. So I'll show you, you can see behind me here. There are, the area we're looking at is right here. We have, here's Georgetown Elementary at Baldwin, the 5-6 building are up here. There's Baldwin Street, 36, there's a traffic light here, there's now a turn lane added to that 36th in Baldwin. Here's 40th where it comes up. There's a turn lane that goes off of 40th onto Baldwin, which would be heading east. There's not one that's going heading west. You can't go straight, so you can go left or you can go right, but you can't go straight. This is a 4-lane, this is a 5-lane road. There's a divider right in the middle of that. So the recommendation from us with Georgetown Township will be to put a traffic light at the exit of the Georgetown campus, which is Brewer, which quite frankly is a better location. More people try to cross at Brewer than they do at 40th. We would then put traffic crosswalk signals here with an island on the west side of Baldwin just on the west side over here. The reason why you need an island, because you can't cross 5 lanes in the time with the traffic blinking light going from there. So we put a blinking light here and cross. We get rid of these sidewalk crosses on the east side, we move them to the west side. If you are coming by bike on this trail, I would say heading north along 40th, you can come down this path here, and you can cross here at the light to get on the campus, which most people would do. There's no reason to cross up here and go that way, unless you want to cross and get to the playground, which is really closed at the beginning of the day. This does not warrant a traffic light. Both studies said no, and Ottawa Road Commission said no. However, with the request here, we believe they think it's a better option at Brewer leaving. And we also think it's a better option because we can control that signal after sporting events, after school. It would be a blinking light basically all the time until somebody pushes the button to cross and then it turns. Or at the end of the day, it can be controlled by the police, or we have a 2:45 to 3 o'clock and then a 3:45 to 4 o'clock traffic signal to get people off that campus. That's kind of where we are. We still have to figure out the financial component. We had a grant prepared to cover this that we have to spend by the end of next month, so that isn't possible. So we're going to be working with Georgetown Township on what this looks like, the cost. A standard traffic light is just right around $100,000, plus all the fees to design and everything it takes to making sure that the layout is the way they want it to. And then there's a maintenance fee that we'll be responsible for. That can range from $5,000 to $10,000 a year going from there. But that's something we're going to work with Georgetown Township. I know this is very preliminary. I didn't have a chance to share this with the board, but I wanted a chance for you to see what it looks like. And I think we're moving in the right direction after about 17 years of trying to do this. I think we're getting much closer. I'm getting a chance to know some of the Ottawa County Road Commissioners more than I planned on when I signed up. But any questions about what that looks like from the board?
What's the speed limit there?
55. So we also have the traffic signals with school zones that are going in throughout the campus. We had, I put it in board briefs a while ago, we have Forest Grove and Bauer Elementary. We put them up to make sure the timing and everything works. A lot of positive feedback. We have another 9 of them, 11? Wow. We have more that are going up that we had to order and go through the whole process once we had the approval for the first 4. Now we have approval for the other ones, and they go at the 5-6 building, the Baldwin campus, Jamestown, and Friday.
There's no thought of lowering the speed limit for a school zone?
It's too many lanes to lower the speed limit. It's lower during the school time, but it's not lower permanently. They can't because of the width of the road.
Dr. Vanderjack, are we going to be able to utilize that grant for something else, or
We are.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. When we realize we better do this before it's going to be done,
Okay.
we allocate it towards other safety measures that we can put in place. Good question.
So I'm assuming they've also looked at what happens with the stoplight at Baldwin and 36th, and then if you have someone stopping at Brewer and Baldwin, as far as backing up that far.
The distance they said is the far enough distance. That's
Okay.
not the concern.
Okay,
The one thing they do also recommend is an increased delayed signal at 36th and Baldwin so that the light changes before the crosswalk turns to walk. A lot of times, we've had 2 accidents there in the last 7 years, I think it is, and both of them are because one was on a bike, one was a walker, and both were okay, but because what happens if the light changes and it turns walk right away, somebody starts walking, people see the light and they sometimes clip them going left. So this would give it a little bit more of a delay. I think it's a 3-second delay, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's substantial.
so as far as people feeling like they're inconvenienced with 2 lights close together, it really is at limited times of the day
That's right.
that it's going to be active, otherwise it's just cautionary.
I don't know about in the morning, we'll have to figure that out. I think that's up to Ottawa County for the timing. They have some recommendations, but it's really just gonna be a blinking yellow light and a red light coming off the brewer, coming off the school, like it kind of is now, except when we go through and get everything configured timing-wise. And quite frankly, after a big football game and when it,
It's
We
dark.
invite Jennison to come in for
Yes.
a little bit, and then play some football. It gets pretty busy over there.
And maybe you said this, you said Georgetown is looking at sharing costs.
Yeah, so Georgetown Township's been a great partner in this project. It's not only help facilitating because there's a lot of changes. If you look at, just as a sample, if you look at even the exit of Brewer here, this is Brewer coming out. You can see, there's a crosswalk there. We'd have to remove that because it gives people's kind of a false hope of crossing.
Right.
Put it over here, the crosswalk is, straighten these two out so they fall along the path, and then you have your turn signal. So that gives them a lot more control over what that looks like, even that exit. And then the other one is here. You can see just the island. From this 5 lanes, you put an island here. So you're coming here to turn left, you go around, but some people can be here as a crosswalk.
Gotcha.
There's a crosswalk there and there, but there was no crosswalk. Get rid of these two, curb it, and then put them over here so people can cross. So you have people coming down. If you're on this side of Baldwin, you can still cross there if you want, or you can keep going this way and cross over at Brewer. Which, if you look at the flow, knowing I know that area very well, I think it's a better answer than putting just a light at 40th because people will still try to cross at Brewer. I haven't talked to all the parents in that area, but I think that's a pretty good option.
Yes.
Yeah.
In that island there, would they have, like a Chicago Drive, you got the button where you can push where the lights go off,
The lights
push
at the
those to
end.
stop?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't.
Or just an island, no lights?
I think it is a flashing light. I gotta have to go through the report.
Okay.
I think there's a flashing light there.
Seems like a reasonable potential solution. 17 years in the making.
And I like it too, because then you can control the signal for school use after games and stuff.
School crossing signs and pedestrian crossing. So it wouldn't be, I don't know if it'd be flashing lights and it would shut down, but it would definitely have school crossing. No, that's all good news. This doesn't have, they don't even have posts for traffic lights. They're a good 6 to 8 months. So we want to get on this quickly so that this can get done soon.
So when do you expect a request to the board, and would it be for approval of funding?
I would, it would be great if I can come back to you September 12th. Yeah, that would be quick, but we have a meeting scheduled on the 5th, and we're going to try to meet with Georgetown to finalize that. We've had several email communications back and forth today, just trying to understand, because that when they tell you you're responsible for half of the cost, like, what's half of the cost? Well, here's a ballpark number. Okay, what is it? So, is it 50,000 or is it 500,000? So, we're working through it. I'm optimistic that we'll get this plane on the ground.
Good.
One last question, where would the funds for this come from?
It's a great question. So we have funding through some of the grants that we've received, and some of those grants, when we knew they were going to expire, we did have a chance to pull some of the projects through the sinking fund and put them that direction. So in other words, instead of pulling from the sinking fund, we paid from those grant dollars. So we're hoping that potentially we can grab, if they're eligible for sinking fund dollars, which we've been spending bond dollars as opposed to that, so hopefully we'll be able to use that. We'll have a better understanding of where it's all coming from, but I think we have the dollars, it can't come out of certain funds. And we never know if next week there's going to be another grant opportunity for other safety and security, because they cut about $140 million out of our 31 AA, and some of those are instructional costs and some of those are security costs. So there's a lot of movement in the budget right now, and there's also some movement from our legislators to say, you know what, we probably need to rethink what just happened in the last budget proposal.
So as Dr. Vanderjack said, we've got grant after grant after grant we've worked through. Our fallback position is the enhancement village. So we've got the funding there for it, and it's for safety, security, mental health, all transportation. Those are the 3 legs of the stool, even though that sounds like 4. But it'll at least come out of the enhanced millage.
I believe it was four, was it four, there were four points that you made, but you said,
Safety and security are really one thing.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so.
So I just wanted to give the board an update. I knew there might be people here that were interested also, and it's something I think, we still have a journey to try to address the transportation by foot from, I'll say 36 in Baldwin to the 5-6 building campus, and we're working on that also, but I think this is a priority right now to try to get that addressed in Baldwin. Now Baldwin and Brewer. I haven't told the people out of the corner of Brewer yet, so I guess they'll know after we still know what's going to happen. We're trying. Thank you.
So on the traffic security, all of that note, any information yet on the Allen Street, Berry Street? I know that the city has.
Yeah, they waited for school to start. They're going to shut it down.
Yes. And have they given us any indication of what they expect us to do with the traffic flow?
Sure. So I've been in contact with the city quite a bit regarding that traffic flow. 32nd will be open the entire time. We'll go down to one lane going both ways, but it kind of is now.
Right.
Along that area. Allen will be closed for a little bit, and so will, actually, quite frankly, Allen should be open most of the time, but Berry shuts down on the other side. The culvert should be in October 5th, I believe, and that's when most of the traffic will work. If you come down Brewer from 22nd, Berry, sorry, Berry from 22nd area, you'll just pass Presidential Stage, you'll then cut on
Subdivision through that?
Beach Grove?
No,
Beach something.
I want to live in that neighborhood.
I thought it was Beach.
Hey,
North.
over there.
Lower Ward? No, just before that. So it's just at the bottom of the hill to the north. They're gonna
It
put it
says
through
here,
the
next to the woods right
subdivision?
here. Yeah, so I'll show you.
Okay.
That's your house.
Well, I'm thinking, are they gonna put it through those condos, that little
Yes,
sites?
yeah.
Oh, they are, oh my. Oh my, okay. Beach Nut, it's Beach Nut, and there's a little
It's Beach Ridge.
Beach Ridge and then Beach Nut somewhere.
Yeah, so,
Okay, we'll be prepared at the phones.
well, and this is the biggest.
I know the
issue.
neighbors, I know the
So
condos.
here's the realignment. It comes through here. You should know this here.
Oh, yeah, I know it well.
Right here. So it comes through here and it cuts through. So this will be closed down. This will end up shutting down here, like a cul-de-sac. And then this continues through here. 32nd will remain open. So Allen, you come down Laurelwood, and then down to Beach Ridge and come this way. For our students coming from that area, go down to Quincy and come in from the other side.
Yeah.
If you come in this way, we're gonna hope they do a right turn and pull into this parking lot here. When they leave at the end of the day, they'll actually, if they're going this way, they'll take a right and then take a left on Beach Ridge and come in through there. What we don't know, Dawn, is how far Beach Ridge will get back up if somebody comes up to that one lane exit and turns left.
Yeah.
Because they could be there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
If they do come out of here and do make a left, then they pull in this parking lot. So kids will navigate it. Unfortunately, it'll probably shut down the end of September through that work, which could last until the end of the calendar year. And I'm sure most of our new drivers will do great with this with some professional background. So, yeah. Does that make some sense though?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I hope it's being communicated very clearly
We
to
have.
that
I've been
neighborhood.
working with the city and then keeping Mr. Beal and Mr. Pedroia informed. There's only so much we can do.
Right, I know that.
So, and most of our kids would rather take the bus than drive their own cars to school, but we do have, and we have, and transportation's been included in conversation.
Yeah. You just need more bus drivers if you don't that.
Yeah. They can all fit.
What about, and maybe you already mentioned that the 48th and Van Buren, will that impact us where they're making
Yeah, we're just going on 40th to that traffic light and turn left
that
on
same
Baldwin.
thing? Exactly.
So no, and that's a 3-year project, so that's gonna be a little bit, I feel bad, I mean, Unity opened school and 3 days later they shut down 48, so they're working their way through it. It doesn't impact, we do have buses that go that direction, obviously, they're working their way around it. It's not ideal, but you're coming down, most of them are coming down Fort Sheldon, and they're heading north to 48, I'm sorry, west to 48. But that'll be another project.
Thank you for those updates.
Yep, major weekly traffic.
Any other questions?
All right, hearing none, we'll do a roundtable, and I'll start with Mr. Davis.
I'm all set, thanks.
I'm all set.
Looking forward to another great year. Go Eagles.
Go Eagles, welcome to our new teachers. I know we're here tonight. Nonetheless, welcome. Great to have everybody back. We jump into buildings and all the fun stuff we've talked about. But at the end of the day, we know as teachers and staff that make a difference. And so we appreciate that, which you do every single day. Thank you.
And the summer weather has returned.
I think I texted the board, well, that happened between 4:15 and 4:45. We hit the heat index, so for those that do it, the heat index of 100 is when we make decisions about maintaining a normal school day, and it's expected to just get over 100 tomorrow, about 12, a little after 12. So we do have a half day tomorrow for our kids. Some of our practices that are outdoors tomorrow, we're shifting them to night practices, not overnight, but night practices. And those will take place. Obviously, a lot of our indoor sports, whether it be, swimming, water polo, volleyball, all of those can still take place indoors. And the volleyball team was very comfortable in the field house practicing while our tennis kids were outside. Doing water break every 7 minutes. Tomorrow's gonna be warmer, so hopefully it'll cool down on Wednesday, and we'll probably have a snow day in 2 weeks. That's what it is.
All right, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Movement to Andrew, second.
Support.
Support from Nick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, our work session is adjourned.
Thank you.